Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd give you an update, just a quick tour of my garden in basically mid-spring now, 2025, in Sydney, Australia. We're in mid-October basically, which is pretty much mid-spring. This is, as you can see, the mulberries have started to turn. This is my black Pakistani mulberry. They just started their ripening process now. They're turning red, from green to red, and eventually black. Highly recommend this variety. Extremely productive, prolific in production, and very vigorous, very easy to grow, not too picky when it comes to growing conditions. And yeah, there you go. They're just starting to ripen everywhere. Yeah, highly recommend it if you do have the space and you're able to get one of those. Do so. It's extremely productive, very ornamental, and it's definitely a rare tree, mulberry. It's not too common. Yeah, I'll skip this. I'll just go to the main things. So what I've done here, I've hacked my Eureka lemon tree in late winter when I picked the rest of the lemons. I hacked it severely, as you can see there. I had multiple main trunks coming out off the base, and it was just going awkwardly, in awkward positions, going every which direction. Wasn't really ideal. So I hacked all the main trunks coming off the base and just left one that's the best looking one, the one that's going up nice and straight and had a good form. I left that one and I just gave a severe haircut on top as well. Didn't look pretty when I'd done it, but as you can see now, it's jumped back into life and it's full of growth and flowers. It's even set some new lemons. So it's doing fantastic. It responded really well to the prune, and I made sure I done it in the colder months, late winter, to avoid the citrus leaf miner, because they tend to come later during the season, during the warmer months. So at least the new growth had time to develop properly before they got hit. Because I tend to ignore it, and once the tree gets big enough, it's not an issue. It's only when it's young it just does a bit of damage on the leaves. Okay, the white chutut, again, very super productive, and you can see they've started to turn as well, except these ones turn white, hence the name. They don't turn black or red. They ripen to a whitish, yellowish color. And they've also started to turn, so we should be eating the mulberries in the next couple of days basically. Yeah, it's pretty much time. And again, extremely productive, extremely vigorous. This one here is an espalier form. That's the way I've trained it, and every year I just prune it back to its original form, back to the skeleton, and it comes back with a vengeance every year. So I also highly recommend the white chutut. If you, mind you, they're on the sweet side, especially the white chutut. They're extremely sweet, extremely basically honey sweet. So if you're not too keen on sweet things, then maybe stick with the classic mulberry flavors, the sweet and tart type. But otherwise, this is fantastic. You know, I mean, I do prefer the original, the the classic flavors, the sweet with acidity. But a lot of people do like this still, so just keep that in mind. The pomegranates, again, they've shot back to life after they've woken up from winter, and they've started their flower production. So this is my Lebanese number 2. This is Ben Hur, the Australian Ben Hur. And what I've done, everywhere around Sydney now, they've been in flower production for quite a while now, maybe at least a few weeks, maybe a month ago. They've started their flower production, but mine are delayed, strategically so, or deliberately. I aim to delay the flowering period of my pomegranates in the hopes of getting more fruit sets, because over the years, just from observing my pomegranates, from my own observation that is, I've noticed that most of the flowers tend to drop. I would say probably 99% of the flowers. Usually at this time, you'll see like a bed of red on the floor, like a sea of red flowers on the floor. It's all just aborted flowers. Flowers have been dropped for various reasons, lack of pollination or fluctuation in temperatures, or whatever the reason may be, that you tend to lose a lot of flowers on pomegranates because I think that the reason is they come in early. And I've noticed, actually, the main point of this, I've noticed that the flowers that come in late in spring, so the second half year from mid to late spring, tend to have a much better success at setting fruit than the ones that come in early. Very high success rate, I've noticed. The later, the higher the success rate, it would seem, at least from my own observation. And a lot of the early ones, it seems the earlier they come in the season, that is, in this growing season, so basically early spring, they tend to drop. And the reason is, I believe, is that one is lack of pollination, lack of pollinator activity, because pollinators such as bees and other pollinating insects, they're more active later in the season when the weather is nice and warm, when the weather is consistently warm, mid to late spring and so on, compared to early spring when it's still pretty cold, and it can be pretty cold and the weather and the temperatures fluctuate. Because obviously they operate on temperatures, insects, or especially bees and pollinating insects. They only come out of their hibernation or their rest or their winter sort of hideouts when it's warm enough, when it's consistently warm. So a lot of these flowers tend to miss out on pollination because of the lack of pollinators. So that's another reason. And the third reason, I believe, is the tree has not matured enough. It's at the early stages of growth, when it wakes up from dormancy, it's too busy absorbing energy and nutrition to put it into growth. It wants to grow first rather than put set fruit. So a lot of the flowers that appear during that process, the early stages, the tree will just abort it. It's not ready for fruit production. It just drops it on the floor, I believe, and it uses its energy for growing branches and leaves and just for general growth. And that's why, from what I've seen, the later flowers that come later in the season tend to have a good success rate at setting fruit. So what I've done is I've hacked them severely. That's the whole point of that whole rant. In winter, I've hacked the trees severely. Usually I don't prune them that heavily. But as you can see, I've literally cut them in half, or even less than half. All the main branches chopped in half. Any side branches, I've hacked them severely. They look pretty much like a little skeleton by the time I was done with them. And the whole point of that is to delay the flowering process, because I want it to, any tree wants to, if you severely prune it, it tends to put all its energy, or a lot of its energy, into growth. It wants to grow again. It goes into growing mode rather than producing flowers. So that's what I wanted to do, hack it severely, get it into producing, making growth rather than flowers, and then later in the season it'll kick in into flower production like now in mid-spring, and it just started producing flowers now. So it seems to be working, but we'll see if the whole experiment works, you know, when we see this the fruit set. We'll see how successful it is, but we'll keep you updated, inshallah. Inshallah that works. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so we'll move on. The figs have are all flourishing now. They've woken up from their dormancy, and they're in full growing mode. The olive trees also doing great, except it looks like they're gonna skip this year. They're not interested in producing any fruit or any olives. There's barely any flowers at all. So I think they tend to be biannual. So they had a bumper crop last season. It seems like they want to have a rest this season. You know, which is fine. I'm not too fussy about that. Okay, here we have the other Moroccan olive tree, my orange sherbet mango tree. The poor thing, it's copping a lot of punishment from my little D, my little daughter. She just keeps picking on it every time it makes new growth. She comes and she snaps it off. She tears off the leaves and just, you know, just bullies it basically. You know, for some reason she's attracted to it, and she just keeps going at it. So I think I'm going to have to build a barrier around the tree to protect it from my D, which is my little daughter. We don't have D actually here, not where I live anyway. Maybe in the national parks, but we're definitely not here. But yeah, it's basically my daughter. That's the whole point. This is a Valencia Pride. It's going crazy with flowers, but I don't think I'm going to let it set any fruit. I don't know. I might get tempted and let it do one, maybe, but yeah, probably not. I'd rather just let it waste its energy on growth rather than making fruits. But yeah, it's tempting because I've never tasted a Valencia Pride. So yeah, we'll see if I fall into temptation or not. But it's doing fine, very vigorous. This is my Golden Queen mango, also known as Taiwan Gold, I believe. Also new to me. I've never had one of those. Again, it's started its flowering stages. All these little ones now I'm showing you are just a year old. I planted them literally last year about this time or so. So they're still young, but they're doing fine. They're doing fine. Okay, this is, okay, this way. That's my other mango that I've planted last year as well, last season. It's a sweet tart mango. Again, it hasn't done much. Didn't seem to have woken up from winter yet, so could be a bit delayed. The strawberry patch is doing amazing actually. They're loaded with strawberries, but they usually are. They're very productive strawberries. You see strawberries everywhere. Everyone just going at them. They come and my little one comes and grazes here, and my little D, my little Bambi, my daughter, he comes around and just does her thing with them and just picks them and eats them. She loves them. The three-way apple is into flower production now. It's burst into growth and flower production. Actually, it's already a three-way. As I mentioned before, it's a Gala, Royal Gala, Fuji, and Pink Lady, and I've grafted two more to it. Two more varieties, Granny Smith, which have all taken, it would seem. There's one there, there's, you can see another one there. Very successful, it would seem, which I'm happy about. And the other one that I've grafted is, which I'm not sure if it's going to do well in this area, but I don't mind, a bit of an experiment, is the Cox Orange Pippin, the old school English variety. I've always liked, not that I've tasted it, but I've always wanted to try it. So I grafted a couple of days, which that have taken as well. So we'll see how that goes. Chama, which I got from Bunnings, which is our local hardware store. I planted also late last year, late season. It's put on some new growth. You can see now it's pushing out some new growth. Apparently they're supposed to be very slow growers, so we'll see what happens. But it's doing okay. Loquats. This is the Bessel brown loquats. They tend to have very large fruits. They tend to have very or larger than the Japanese. I forgot the name of. They used to have one of those, Nagasaki, something like that. These are larger, but the other ones, the Japanese ones, tend to be a lot more sweeter, and they come in earlier. So it depends what you're after. But they're still very, very nice. Good eating, these ones as well. Okay, now back to the figs, basically. Yeah, they're all busy producing growth after winter. So that's the VDB, Violet de Bordeaux. We have the White Madeira here. It was a late bloomer. It took a while to take off in terms of the growth in general. It's not the most vigorous tree, but now it's doing okay, it would seem. These two are champions. I like them. The Sakura Black, and there's another one there. So that's the Sakura Black there. This one here next to it, I've planted two in a hole. That's Calderona, the Spanish Calderona. Two of the best, these two are. So yeah, they're busy making growth and you know, doing their thing. They haven't really started. It's a bit early for the figs. That's the Osborne Prolific. I've let it go. Didn't really prune it this winter because I've got plans for it. I do want to graft a bunch of other figs on it just to save some space. I'm running out of space in the ground. So I've decided, I've already got maybe, I don't know, 13, 14, at least 12 in-ground figs. But I always want more, so I've decided to start grafting. And I started with the black Madeira grafts. So these are my two black Madeira grafts. You can see there, 1 and 2, which I done last autumn. And they've taken and they're doing absolutely fine. Personally, I've never seen a black Madeira in my yard that healthy before. You know, I've had the other one in the main mother tree in the ground for, I don't know, probably 6 years or more now. And it's stunted, they won't move. It's barely a meter tall, you know, 3 feet tall, so, and it just won't go anywhere. So I've decided to take a cutting off it and graft it. And just this growth alone is more than I've seen in many years off the actual mother tree. So it seemed to have done the trick, grafting it onto a vigorous rootstock, which is this established Osborne Prolific. So we'll see how she goes, inshallah. Hopefully I'll have some figs to eat from it this year. Okay. The White Madeira, arguably one of my personal favorites. I love this tree. I've always talked it up for good reason. You know, you would have to love a white Madeira. White Adriatic. Did I say Madeira? No, so this is my white Adriatic, and they're one of the best figs. You know, hands down. No one can argue otherwise. They are top tier, generally speaking. You would have to have one Adriatic type in your collection at least, and this particular one is awesome. I love it. Good size, extremely high productive, excellent taste, holds reasonably well to the weather. Yeah, it's basically a special tree, this one. I love it, and that was actually my first tree I ever planted in my backyard in terms of fig trees. That was the first of my collection. So it holds a little something special to me. Yeah, so, you know, as usual, I prune it in a basically open manner, so I'm able to walk. So this is the tree from a sort of a far view, and I'm able to walk right into the center and reach every branch, every fig, you know, is within my reach, within my height, and that's the way I like to do it every year. I am planning to develop some canopy on top now, so that's why I've left this branch here. Usually I would prune that off. It's in the sort of towards the center of the tree, but I've left it going vertically up, and in the hopes to form a bit of a canopy on top, just to protect against sunburn, you know, direct sun exposure to the trunk, that is, because it's not ideal. Generally speaking, not many trees love being tortured by the sun, especially the extreme summer Australian sun. It tends to be very intense, and they do some damage on the actual trunks of your trees. So if you don't want to paint them, make sure you protect them somehow by you know, in the cover of other trees or some sort of a shade. Okay, so this is my Azerbaijani pomegranate. Again, it just started its flower production. Same basically deal. I pruned it heavily. You can see where I've hacked it right here. I've hacked the main trunks all the way down, you know, about 4 feet high, just over a meter high. They were huge. They were very big trees. So I've hacked them down. Again, trying to delay the flowering production, keep the flower production towards the end or mid to late spring, because I think I get a better success at setting the fruit or flower set towards the end of the spring. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, this is my beautiful Fuyu persimmon. MashaAllah, last year literally could not keep up with it. It was dripping with fruit, literally, like just the thing was, I don't know how she coped. I lost a couple of branches, but yeah, it was extremely productive, extremely productive last year. But it would seem this year again it's decided to take a break from fruit production. There's minimal fruit production, it would seem. I mean, you go around, usually like last year, every single node would have a fruit coming off it. So every single leaf node would have a fruit coming off it, a persimmon. Not this year. So now you can see there's one there, and that's it on this branch. They're very scattered compared to last year. Last year they didn't miss a leaf node. They were producing in every single leaf node. Not this year. So obviously it wants to take a break. It was just too much energy used last year, and it wants to take a break this year, which is fine. There's a couple there. You can see one there, one there. You know, there's another one there. But yeah, very scattered, very scattered. You know, last year you'd struggle to find a leaf. It was all fruit. So that's fine again. It's well-deserved rest. Let it rest, and you know, let it take a break. That's fine. So this is my cherry moya, Bayes cherry moya, I believe, which I bought from Joe, a fellow fruit enthusiast. I bought it off him. He's got a few different varieties actually on his tree, and he was kind enough to sell me one of his Bayes cherry moya. That's my first ever cherry moya. Never had a cherry moya, so we'll see how that goes. I might graft another variety onto it for pollination purposes later on when it matures. It's a bit too young now, so we'll see what happens then. So this is that stunted black Madeira fig tree I was telling you about. So you can see there, the thing is struggling. It's probably 6-7 years old now. Barely moves every year. Barely puts on any growth. It's just in ICU. That's what it seems. It's in survival mode, you know. So that's what I've done. I've taken a cutting of that, and I've grafted it on my mature tree, and it's already taken off literally as soon as it woke up from winter, it woke up with a burst full of energy. It just couldn't wait to grow, and it's doing pretty good now. Panache, my panache, also known as tiger fig, also doing well. I do have plans to graft it onto this tree as well, and maybe even remove the whole tree. We'll see what happens. Again, just to save some space here. I don't like things too cluttered. I like some sort of order in the garden, but yeah, that's just me. My I-258, which I planted late last season, so it's still young, but it's doing fine. It's growing. Yeah, this is the what I call Lebanese #1 pomegranate. Again, hacked it severely, delay flower production, and it's just starting to produce flowers now. So the plan seems to be working so far. This is Lee Lychee, that giant fruit type, which I planted last season as well. So first time trying Lychee. I don't know why I delayed it so long, but I should have done it earlier. I mean, Sydney is pretty ideal for growing Lychee, and most things actually. Sydney has that sort of warm temperate. It's right in the middle, and it tends to allow for a lot of spectrum, a bigger spectrum of fruit, growing fruits in that climate, in Sydney's climate. Okay, so this is the, so that's the Lee, and this is the Lucerne, something like that. It's the seedless variety, Sulinsan. I believe it's an Australian bred variety. It's seedless, supposed to be seedless. So again, we'll see how that goes. I only planted them, they're only young trees. They're already producing flowers, which is not ideal for their age. They're a bit too young for that. So I might just cut the flowers off and let it concentrate its energy into growth rather than flowers. So again, this is my second Lebanese #1 pomegranate. Again, severely hacked it, and it's just going crazy with growth, and it's just started its flower production recently. So we'll see how that experiment goes. Raspberry bush or vine there, just starting to grow now, but usually I get the fruit later in the season, the berries. I've got 2 asparagus plants here. I've got the green one and the purple one there. You can see the purple one coming out. I don't know if you can see in the shade the color that is, but there's 2 next to each other, which is plenty for us. So they produce plenty of spears, of asparagus spears for us to consume. This is the Pafianca, renowned to be the #1, the best tasting pomegranate. I would probably have to agree. When they're on, they are the best. If you get them, ideally grow them, they ripen to their best. They are hard to beat at that stage. Not as productive as others, like Wonderful or other varieties. But I believe you need to give them a bit of time. They seem to improve every year in terms of production. This is the Suma mandarin, or Shiranui mandarin, also known as, which I planted last season as well. This is one of our favorite mandarins, so we decided to plant one of them, grow one of them. Again, it's full of miniature fruits. It's just past its flowering stage now, and it's set some fruit. Again, it's too young. I might leave a few, because citrus can take a couple of fruits. They're heavy producers as well, but you just got to keep up the fluids and the nutrition to them. They're heavy feeders. Two-way cherries, low chill cherries. I think Royal Lee and Mini Royal, something like that. I think that's the name of them. Just planted them in winter, so they're still young. It needs a bit of time. This is my bigger Pafianca. It's a lot more vigorous than the other one. It's a more mature tree, and you can see it's pumping out a whole bunch of flowers now. So yeah, I can't wait for those. Pomegranates are probably the most requested fruits in my backyard. That's why I've got probably, I don't know, at least 10 trees of them. Everyone loves pomegranates. You know, probably pomegranates and then pomelos are highly requested from my garden. Figs also up there, but the younger generations, you know, maybe, I don't know what it is, they're not big fans of figs. They tend to go for pomegranates. I love the pomegranates, and I'm talking about, like, you know, the Gen Zers basically, you know, my kids and that sort of generation, the ones that are sort of in their 20s or younger. They tend to go, they're not big on figs, you know, maybe because, I don't know, you know, the older generation likes it because of tradition and we grew up on it and holds a lot of sort of sentimental value to us, I don't know, but the younger generation, they're not big fans of it. But it is highly requested by the older generation. So it's probably the third most requested fruit in my garden after, I would say, probably pomegranates #1, then pomelos, then the figs. But yeah, I've never met anyone that hates pomegranates. Everyone loves them, whether it's juice or just eat them as it is or use them in salads and so on. Excellent fruit. And I've got a whole bunch of different varieties as well. I've even got I recently planted a French one as well. I forgot the name of it. And I've got a black velvet as well. It's a black exterior. Pomegranates, very ornamental. But anyway, enough about pomegranates. So this is my top 2 orange or navel orange trees. Personally, I think it's up there. It's one of the best tasting. So this is the Navelina orange. Brilliant color on them. Good, excellent size, very productive. But the taste is what puts it high in my rankings. Excellent tasting navel orange. Way superior than your standard Washington orange, in my opinion. So it's between this and the Cara, which I've got in the back there. To me, they're the top tasting oranges. So I do highly recommend Navelina. It's a Spanish variety if you can get your hands on one. So this is my highly requested pomelo. It's a Nam Roy pomelo. It's a reasonably old tree, probably, I don't know, at least 7-8 years old since I planted it. And you can see now it's just finished its flower production. You can see there's a lot of spent flowers there, and you can see some fruit set. The fruit set on pomelos is extremely low, and for good reason. You know, I mean, each fruit, you know, is basically a mini watermelon. You know, some of them can go up to the size of the basketballs. So, you know, you can't expect it to set that many fruits. It's just a lot of energy wasted, and it needs a lot of energy to hold all that fruit. So they tend to be careful in the amount of fruit they tend to hold. But excellent fruit. If you never had a pomelo, you should try it. It's an exquisite taste. Yeah, it's got the texture is basically what wins over all other citrus, and it's right there, a good balance of flavors. It's got the bitterness, bit of acidity, bit of sweetness, and full of texture. Excellent variety. So this is my Cara. You can see it's just gone crazy in fruit production, setting a whole bunch of oranges, Cara oranges, which are the reddish interior ones, pinkish reddish interior. So it's technically it's a navel orange that has naturally mutated to develop the red coloration on the inside. But again, yeah, it's definitely top 2 for me. So between the Cara and the Navelina orange, when it comes to best tasting oranges, they're definitely up there, those 2. This is more recently planted dwarf avocado. It's the Warts dwarf avocado. I just planted it here, literally maybe a week or 2, a couple of weeks ago. I should have done it ages ago. I should have planted avocado ages ago because my family does love avocados, but I don't know why I've just delayed it. But anyway, it's in the ground now, and I've given it heaps of space there in the shade of the big Bourgeois Noir fig tree, so it'll give it some afternoon shade, or when the sun is scorching hot. It'll protect it from the sun until it matures, then it can sort of fend for itself. But yeah, so this is my Bourgeois Noir. To me, it's probably the best black fig that I've got, better than, I would say, any other black fig. I've got some top tier figs, the Calderona, the Scora Blacks, even the Black Madeira and VDB and all that. But I would choose this for a few reasons. Extremely productive, extremely adaptable to a whole range of weather. It copes really well with the humidity and wet seasons. Copes well with the rain and splittage. Excellent taste and variety. Extremely good taste and variety. Good sized fruits, heavy production. Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with a Bourgeois Noir. So to me, when it comes to black figs, this is probably the best. All rounder. It's not just about taste. It's just as an all rounder, the growing habits, the vigorous nature of it, the production, the taste, all rounder. So yeah, this would be definitely my best black fig, and the white Madeira would be my best white or green fig. Okay, so this is my blackberry bush, and it's going crazy. I'm literally contemplating killing this thing. It's scaring me how vigorous and invasive it is. And I thought this is the thornless one. I thought this is a bit more tamed than its more aggressive wild cousin. The thorned ones. I thought this would have a more tamed nature, but it doesn't seem so. They're just, you got suckers popping up everywhere where I don't want them to pop up. This thing would literally grow on concrete. That's how aggressive and vigorous it is, which scares me. I like to control things here. I don't like things out of control. So I'll see. I might give it this season, and if it keeps going the way it is, then it might have to get the axe. So yeah, it's on notice at the moment. She better behave. But yeah, otherwise it's excellent. If you have the space for it, or you can put it somewhere where it's not invasive to anything else. Excellent. So productive. You will have fruit for the berries from it the first season. Extremely productive. Nice big berries, beautiful, sweet, and flavors. Really good. But it's a shame that they're so invasive. I heard you can do them in pots if you're a guy that person that likes growing things in pot, then this is probably for you as well. I'm not big on pot culture. I like things in the ground. But yeah, this is definitely for you if you like growing things in pots. Very vigorous and productive. Muscadine grape. I've got two muscadines, one there and one there, I believe. Yeah, that one there. I think it's Adonis and Supreme, so a red one and a green one. I've never had them before, so it'll be interesting to see how they are. And one of the main reasons why I planted them is because they're so adaptable to coastal or humid areas such as Sydney. Because traditionally speaking, the European grapes, the classic grapes, they like dry summers, Mediterranean summers basically. This is their natural habitat. They don't like it when they start forming fungal diseases and all sorts of issues. But I do still have two, grapes, European grapes. This being one of them. So Autumn Royal or Autumn Royale, depends how you pronounce it. And the other one is what is it? Crimson Seedless. Yes, the Crimson Seedless. And they're productive. I get a bunch of grapes of them every single year. You can see there's some being formed there. There's another bunch formed there. Another one there. You know, another one, there's a whole bunch. There's there. You can see them, they're very productive, very productive. Another cluster there. But yeah, if you get wet summers, which sometimes happens in Sydney, depends on the year. If they're really wet summers, then you're gonna get issues with your European figs. It's hard to avoid, unless you want to spray the heck out of them, which I don't really spray unless it's extreme cases, but I try and avoid it. But yeah, I've let them go here. The plan is to eventually build like a trellis, like a sort of like a carport over the driveway there. You know, which serves two purposes. One is to protect the cars from the elements underneath, and on top of that you have all the vines. I'm going to have the grapes and probably kiwi fruit and passion fruit and things like that growing on top, which would aesthetically look good, serves a purpose, and it's delicious. So that's the plan, inshallah. So back to I'm back to, after I've given up on them, I'm back to stone fruits. So when I first bought this property 11 years ago, I planted a whole bunch of stone fruits. You know, probably 7, 8 plum trees, a few peaches and nectarines and apricots and all sorts of stone fruits. But basically after a few years they matured. I was getting a lot of fruits out of them and so on, and you know, very happy. But the problem is they require a lot of work. You know, if you're not prepared for stone fruits, then I would say don't grow it, because they need a lot of attention. When it comes, you know, whether it's pruning or you know, one of the main problems, actually I don't mind pruning, but one of the main problems is fruit flies issues that I had with them. So you would have to either spray them to smithereens to avoid that issue, which I tend to stay away from, or the other way is you got to net them. But if you have, you know, I had probably 20 different stone fruits. How the heck are you going to net that much stone fruit? It's too much work. It's just too much work, and the vigorous nature of them doesn't help. They grow so quick, and then, you know, you can't net them properly. And even when you net them, you know, after you prune them, then you net them, they're within, you know, reach, then they grow so quickly, they start going through the nets, and it was just too much work. So I just chopped them more down. But now I came back to it. I chose a, I think this is, what is this? A Tropic Queen or something like that. It's a low chill peach. You know, we do love peaches. So I thought, one I can control, you know, like, as in I can spend some time and look after it. But not 10 plus, it's just too much. It's not worth it. So that's the story of stone fruits. This is the mandarin here, Imperial Mandarin. One of my personal favorites as well. We love this mandarin. We love the flavor and the texture of it as well. Highly productive. Again, it's probably maybe 8 years old, this particular tree. Highly productive tree, so highly recommend it if you like mandarins. Let's get to the front. Okay, so now we're onto the front yard. I've literally just began my winter cleanup. Usually I do it much earlier, but I've been busy this winter, this season, or this year, and I've delayed it. So I do need to clean up a bunch of things and just you know, apply some mulch and other things. But yeah, so this is the Washington Navel, probably my oldest orange tree, but I do want to graft on it. Other varieties, blood oranges and so on. And yeah, you can see the mango is in full flower production at the moment. This is my Bambaroo, or the Australian Kensington Pride. I usually get a good fruit set every year, so we'll see how she goes this year. I've pruned it as well. I've pruned it just to open up and open it up from the interior and give it some just like sun exposure and air circulation and things like that, to avoid any fungal issues. This is my second lemon tree that I planted. It's a Spanish Verna, I believe it's called. You know, we love our lemons, so I had to plant another one. Yeah, you can see it's spring. Everything is in flower production now. Okay, so in terms of edibles, that's my Namdok Mai mango here. I planted it last year about this time, or a bit earlier last year. It's roughly about a year old. This one here. This is an ornamental, so yeah, that's not edible, but it does look nice. About a year ago, and I left one fruit on it to taste it. It was delicious, but I don't think I'll leave any more fruits on it this year. I'm gonna let it grow instead. And I think that's it for the edibles. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I need to do a lot of cleaning up in terms of the front garden, just apply mulch, and you know, so I've done some cleaning up and hedging and then some pruning and things like that, but I just need to apply some more mulch just to make it look more appealing. Yeah, I gotta prune that as well. They just finished flowers. I pruned the bougainvillea, the dwarf bougainvillea. That's ready to go. Yeah, and I cleaned up a couple of things around. But yeah, all I need basically is some mulch just to bring it all together. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's left in the front garden. Literally, I just needed to get a load of mulch and spread it around. I do highly recommend those impatiens. They're called sun patience. That's a new breed of impatiens. They're sun loving, and they sure do like the sun. That's pretty much full sun in that position. I've had this since last year, so I copped the whole you know, punishment during summer, direct sun. Made it through winter even I even got some flower production in winter, not as much, but I did, you know, so they do survive our winters. And now in spring, and it's come back to life again in spring, so I highly recommend these sun patience. I've got a couple of them, so that's a red one there. I think this is a orange variety one there. There's another orange one there. But yeah, highly recommend these flowers. If you're into ornamentals, then go for the sun patience. You won't be disappointed. And that's it. That's the end of the tour. I hope you enjoyed this spring tour of the garden. And if you did, just give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next update, inshallah.